Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Gyle here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. I've got some Average Joe's action coming away this afternoon. Chaps, aren't you excited? Yeah, that's right, I know you are. Also, though, a couple of interesting developments in the What's New section. If you haven't been keeping up the news since the last cast, February the 1st, these updates went out. First of all, patch 3629 is online, baby. That is right, lots of interesting adjustments and balance changes. We've got some changes to gunships. We've got some changes to the Seraphim T3 Sub-Hunter. That's right, hallelujah. If anything was overdue, it was that puppy. And then on top of it, probably most important, it's the adjustments to the Aurora, because let's face it, just about everybody, their sister and their mum and their cousin and the chap they met in the pub that day called Bernard was pissing and moaning about how OP Aeon is. Well, this is going to go some way to mitigate that. I hope it. If it's been done correctly, only the balance team will know the gist of that. We'll get to see in the coming days and weeks if it has actually made the, well, I suppose the balance a little bit more acceptable between these early T1 units. Essentially, I like what they've done, though. They've introduced a little extra firing randomness, and that kind of goes in line with the fact that the Aurora is a hover unit, let's face it, so they're not going to be quite so good at withdrawing and retreating, but firing at the same time. It's going to allow other T1 units to stay alive in combat with them a little bit longer. It's all very exciting. But anyway, we'll see how that plays out. It might need to be raised or even lowered. Who's to judge? It'll be us in the future, but not right now. If you want to check out all those balance changes, they are, of course, in full on the What's New section. If you can't find it, there's the link, of course, on the Forged Alliance Forever Facebook page. Why don't you pop on over there, and it lists everything out in full. You can examine it in great detail. And, of course, secondly, some charity events, mate. That's right, charity events. A chap with his little girl have had some serious health problems. I'm not sure if it's a friend of Zep's or a friend of another mod's. But nonetheless, it's a friend of someone that plays Supcom. Therefore, it is a friend of ours, and we must be as giving and forthright and friendly as we can be. And, of course, there's opportunities to get little special avatars. So we're going to have a coding marathon, whatever that means. That's beyond my pay grade. But suffice to say, there's lots of ways you can help, so why not check that out too. Anyway, on to today's game. Like I said, it's going to be an Average Joe. It's going to be a custom 3v3, and it's all going to go down on Ozone Island. So let's go on over to the game zone and see how these guys are going to get on. Now, I can say with a certainty, I have not only never casted a game on this map, I've never played a game on this map. I have never seen a game on this map, except of course for this actual game, which I ran through on +10 a while back, because it's a middle order Average Joe's, and you'd probably be shocked to know that about 40% of the submissions I get at this kind of ranking point do desync, and despite the fact people saying they check that they desync, it doesn't desync as well, but I still have to check it because it keeps happening. But anyway, I have sped this one through. I didn't pay a great deal of attention to it because that way it can be new for me, but I can assure you it doesn't desync. So anyway, let's take a look at our teams. We'll call this Team 1 over here on the left, this Team 2 on the right, West versus East. Of course, it's interesting, isn't it? If this was Japan, I'd be going this way, because that would be my timeline, right to left. But it's not. It's the UK, or Europe, of course, because I'm like Hasselhoff. I'm big in Germany, thanks to the people that play FAF. But anyway, let's take a look at Team 1. Going first up here at the top left in lurid green, it's Buddy Boy. I don't know if that's how he pronounces it, but he's unlucky enough to be featured in Gylecast, so he gets his name mispronounced. Anyway, he's misclicked, he's gone cyber, and he's opened first land and going second air. To his south, team member number 2 for Team 1 in mellow yellow, it's Repris. He's gone Aeon, opened first air. And last but not least, down here at the bottom, Spetsnaz green, going UEF, opening first air. Interesting, your choice, sir, not going to judge. It's Zailgar. And that's Team 1. Let's take a look at Team 2. Over here at the top right in Elephantine Grey, going Seraphim, it's Mass Brewer. He's gone first land, second air. And then down here we've got CCB80 in Combat Green. And he's gone first land, second air, Aeon. And last but not least in Electric Blue, down here, already working on, or looking like he's going to work on some naval yards. I assume that's why he's down there. Yeah, we go. In UEF, it's Fierce Brett. He's not fierce at all. He's lovely. Anyway, he opened first land, second air, and has gone third naval. Already has engineers en route to the bottom island, which is nice to see. How many on board that sucker? Looks to be 2 or 3. It's 3. And coming up the top as well, we've got another drop incoming from Bunny Boy. And he's got 2 engineers on there. Yes, he has, although he's dropping one off, so he's going to go for both. Taking a detour on that island, wants to grab this one and this one. We've also got engineer drops coming out from Repris, and he looks to be incredibly greedy. He's dropping one off on all of the islands. I want everything, he says. Give me your islands with your associated mass. Funny accent, Repris says. But anyway, never mind. That drop was successful. Bunny Boy gets his engineer on the beach. That engineer now sunning himself working up a tan. It's definitely the season's #1 holiday destination, except for all of the logging that's been going on there. They've just left the wood on the beach. Interesting decision. Won't judge. But still, with that chariot away for Repris, dropping engineers off on every island he can get a chance of. We've got another counter drop coming in from Zaelgar, who's this time dropping 2 engineers to this little top island, this little top landmass, and that's actually going to give him a nice advantage. And still Bunny Boy not able to start work on that factory, and he cancels it. There's so many trees in the way, and that's probably because he's got this scout plane over here. He's well aware that Mass Brewer has dropped those engineers off onto the beach. I don't know if I call them Zaelgar earlier. It's so difficult to differentiate between the combat green and the Elephantine grey. But anyway, Bunny Boy cancelling that factory, instead going for an auto gun. I think that's a little bit of a mistake. You want to get that land factory on as soon as possible. It's no difficulty whatsoever for Brewer to start spamming out a couple of Zooies. I'll take that down immediately. For the moment, though, it does seem that Brett has gone unmolested in his conquest of the southern landmass. He's got his station set up. He's got his land factory in play. Now we're looking on the mass front side of things. Bunny Boy out in front with Brett, although Brett drops down the moment I said. Actually, CCB80 bumps himself suddenly up to 35, so he's steaming away with things at the moment. So it's looking a little bit nicer so far for Team 2. But in the Central Island game, Team 1 have done a little bit better. We've got this one under Bunny Boy's control and Repris in control for the moment for these 3 islands here. However, I imagine this will be pretty difficult to hold on to. He's trying to throw together an eruptor to ward off any engineers. There's one coming his way as we speak, though. And here we go, of course, as predicted. Zooey straight off the bat gets a little bit too close, unnecessarily so. Knows it's there, though. He's got a solution on it, so he can sit back a little bit further with this one and bombard at range. Bunny Boy's trying to get his land factory online. He is also airlifting in some Medusas. Will he be in time to save the auto gun? That's the question. That drops down into the red. I don't think he's going to be able to. One more inbound. He does manage to kill both the Zooies, but he's going to have plenty more problems when this second land factory goes online. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this is going to be a win up here for Brewer. It's going to be very difficult for Bunny Boy to airlift enough forces in here to counter this. We have already got T2 air in the sky. No, we haven't. It was just 2 interceptors parked right on top of each other there from Bunny Boy, making it look like they were T2, but they're not. They're Team 1. They're Team 1 and they're T1. I'm still half asleep. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Zooey's engaging, and you can see Bunny Boy not even trying to build anything out of that. He knows he's lost that. Engineer's pulling out as we speak. He is air-dropping troops in still. Whether or not he pulls those back, that remains to be seen. Let's take a look at the naval side of things. So we've got 3 naval factories down here at the bottom right for Brett. Take a look at what happens here as that drop makes its way onto the beach. They don't move, unfortunately, though, so the Zooies just massacre them with that nasty AoE shell that they've got. Back to the naval side of things, Mass Brewer has 2 T1 naval factories. We've got 2 in play for Bunny Boy and 2 in play for Zaelgar, who's already got T2 on the way for that. He's forming up a little naval blockade with Tiger Sharks up here. Brett walks into that, and it costs him one of his own submarines. The other one going to get out of there on 150 HP and find something else to be getting on with, because he sure as hell ain't grabbing any traction there. But what have we got going on here? Repris going for T2 air. He's got a transport online and his commander on board. We have a con drop. What have we got on this puppy? We'll take this opportunity to see what he was building. Oh, we can't. I forget, of course. We cannot look at that while that's on board the transport. We'll have to take a look when he lands. Incredibly frustrating user interface mechanic that is. So he's not going to go straight into the side. We'll take a look at the waypoint screening first of all with a swift wind. I don't think he has much to worry about. There's virtually no air coverage at all, and dropping straight down onto the beach. It looks like he's got a gun upgrade. That was a pretty violent rate of fire he had there. What have we got on here? He's got the T2 engineering suite and the gun upgrade, the accelerator. Bolivian turrets, the order of the day right off the bat. One online, another on the way, as well as some T1 as well. Extra chariot bringing in those T1 engineers to assist. Always nice to have a bit of extra build capacity to assisting your commander. So take a look at what he can hit with that forward Bolivian turret. Not a great deal. I mean, this mass point's going to die. There's no two ways about it, but a couple of T1 P-gens behind it. Otherwise, he's going to have to creep further in if he wants to destroy much of here. Of course, though, all three of these naval yards under pressure. It's really nice, aggressive play from Repris. He is the top-ranking player in this one, 1132. But still, you don't necessarily expect to see this level of aggression from this kind of game, this kind of rating. Is entertaining though, that's for sure. 2 naval yards out of commission. Third soon to be so. Brett has ceased production from them. He's going to bring out his ACU. What's he going to do though? He's going to have to be careful. Oblivion turret's turn. Unleash a volley, knocking him down to 9,250 HP. He backs up into the water. Wise decision, sir. The point defense creep starts. He gets a little bit further forward and throws one up, but we've got Mercies incoming. Takes Repris down to around 12,700. And what's that? TAC missiles inbound as well. It's not actually TAC missiles, that's mobile missiles from a Viper. Sorry, no, it's not. It's a this getting everything wrong. More Mercies inbound though. One of them shot down, another one taken out, and a third in tow. Repris down into the yellow, 8,600 hit points and regenning. Repris needs to get more anti-air in here, and quick. This is not going well for him. He has got one land factory online, but he is down to 50% of his HP. Swift Wind's now covering himself nicely. I don't think we're going to be seeing many more Mercies getting through that screen. Repris pulls out, moving forward to deal with those mobile missile launchers. Brewer, though, standing there with his ACU blapping away. He just needs to press on and do as much damage to Repris as possible. If he can pick off Repris's comm here, it will immediately catapult his team into the lead, despite the damage that's been done to Brett. Repris dropping now to around 33% HP, bringing in some Auroras to assist. We've got a plasma cannon being thrown together by Brett in the core base, but the build capacity gets massacred by the Auroras. Repris down to now 4,000 HP. Brewer not going to press. He doesn't like the way that's been going. Concerned about his own hit points. Around the 6,000 HP mark for him. So while this is incredibly damaging for Team 2 and Brett, it is not a killing blow as yet. He hasn't managed to take out a commander, and he's not secured his position on the beach at all. In fact, he's looking mildly precarious were it not for his air coverage from those swift winds. He'd already be dead. He starts facing too much ground fire. could get himself caught out. Repris advances in the meantime, though, continuing to apply pressure to Brewer's comm. 4,700 hit points and falling. All of the build capacity for CCB80 at the moment is going to producing swift winds and killing off that air advantage, but needs to be careful here. Doesn't want to take any damage on the ground. Nice overcharge from Repris, taking out a ton of build capacity. CCB80 completes an upgrade. I'm assuming that was T2. Immediately throws together an Oblivion turret instantly, and that is going to be enough to force Repris to back up. We take a quick look at what's gone on elsewhere. That has really affected the game dramatically. Go to split screen, you can see, while we keep an eye on what's going on down here, this island up here has been taken by Bunny Boy. For the moment, Brett's still in control down here, but there's a nasty little group of naval units accumulating at the bottom from Zaelgar, and not a great deal of naval forces coming this way. You can see Brett has relocated his manufacturing facilities to this central island, well away from that comm drop. He's got one in the middle as well, but of course, he is short stacking hardcore on Eco. 29 mass per tick right at the bottom of the pile. Next lowest is Brewer on 44, and that's because he's been seriously hampered with the drop as well. He's been trying to deal with Repris's incursion. Brett now out of the water, sensing Repris could potentially be in trouble here. He's down to around 3,800 hit points into the red. Where is that transport? It's still alive down here, ready to evac if necessary, but he needs to be really careful. See where the waypoint is. He's coming into the water. I think that's probably the best decision he can make at the moment. Yes, there are naval units on the map for Brett, but they are not in especially numerous quantities, and what units there are mainly centered around this island up here. Those destroyers, or those Coopers rather I should say, he needs to be careful of, but the single Tiger Shark unlikely to finish him off, and if he can give enough cover he'll be able to evac his comm. But nonetheless, valiant defense from Team 2, fantastic aggression from Repris. Really love to see that. Comm drops never unwelcome here at Gylcast, in case you're ever wondering what's the most likely thing to get you casted. Well, this is pretty high up on that list, guys. Repris advancing into oncoming torpedo fire and starts to reclaim the Tiger Shark. Brett aware of the issue but cannot escape in time. Repris manages to get himself out of there, but down from the north, Brewer has withdrawn his own T1 Navy, and this is going to force Repris to evac now. I think the transport is down here. Brett's already warning for the explosion and asking his teammates not to lose their units in it, but he might have got a little bit of ahead of himself here. The frigate opens up onto the T2 transport, but the Limnar sucks up the commander with no real difficulties. CCB was producing swift winds earlier. You can see he's dispatched them, but they won't get there in time. There's also far too many on the field for Repris, and a whole lot of inties ready to escort them back as well. So not a killing blow at all, but definitely a hampering blow. It has now crippled Brett's eco. That's allowed Zaelgar, who is the weakest in terms of standing, in terms of rating, to get the upper hand now in this naval battle. I think it's going out of my way to say that it looks like he's likely to win this little battle down here and gain control of this bottom island. Bunny Boy also able to snag the top island, because of course Brewer forced to retreat with his naval units down here. So all in all, a pretty successful drop there from Repris. And look at the state of Brett's base. One T2 core mechs remaining. Fringe outline mechs is destroyed, except for this one here right on the peninsula. There's the only T1 mechs to remain, so one T1 mechs and one T2 mechs in play for Brett. Funny boy saying how close it was for Repris. Repris has made his way back safely. Comm on the ground. That is a nice feeling after an engagement like that to get your comm back to safety. But one by one, we've got these subs folding at the bottom island to Zaelgar. And of course, 4 governors at the back. And he's going to want to bring these forward. He doesn't have anything to worry about on the sub front. He's got the advantage. He wants to bring his subs forward. He needs to get these governors working on these naval facilities and take them out. Repris has already got ahead of me though and has brought in some Spectres. And this is still the dominant air force at the moment on the map. Spectres immediately going after the naval headquarters there, the T2. The incoming fire from the cruisers, AoE destroying units under construction. It's one of the most annoying things in the world. You think just a couple of units might turn this around for you, but you just can't get them out in time. So there goes the T2 factory. Build capacity already evacing. Brett sensing another loss here as well. Wise decision. I think some anti-air guns being thrown together. That is going to prompt Repris to alter targets. Wise decision. Down goes the archer as well. There's the end of all defensive units on that landmass for Brett. He's officially off that island, I think it's fair to say. And onwards moves the Spectres, taking out engineers. Nice work there from Repris. Let's slow it down, take a look at the eco side of things. Repris running away with this 140 mass per tick income for him. CCB 80 in second place on 117. And then it drops pretty significantly, 70 and 75 for Mass Brewer and Bunny Boy. Mass Brewer catching up significantly from his earlier situation, but Zaelgar down at the bottom, 41, and no real reason to be that low. He needs to focus on his eco and hard. Fierce Bread, of course, has had a comm drop to contend with, so we can't blame him for that. But certainly Zaelgar going some way to handicap his team, needs to get his eco up and quicker. It should help him if he can get a quick engineer drop down here and grab some extra mass. And he might find himself in a better situation. But meanwhile, Brewer has amassed a cheeky-looking fleet up here at the top, and Honey Boy getting slaughtered with Barracuda and a couple of slivers there. He's got one Salem back here, but he's going to be able to repel firepower of that magnitude. He was just getting set up here as well. He's got one shield, but apparently he can't keep it online, having some power issues. One Cerberus turret firing out from underneath it, but that won't last too long against all of the frigates in the area, and indeed that destroyer. They're going to go after the Salem first. Wise decision. Lloyd turns tail and runs. Not going to make it back to base though. Brewer pursuing. You really see the commitment that Brewer's made to the naval game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 T1 and a T2 naval factory versus his mirror up here that's sitting on the 2 T2s and 1 T1s, but it is a new development. He's only just re-engaged naval priorities. Brett trying to fight his way back out and has actually managed to finish off the rest of those subs and showing or exposing another weakness in Zaelgar. He's gone for all governors with his T2s. He should have thrown a couple of destroyers in there. Never a good idea just to go mass cruiser. You're pretty certain that your naval game is won. One Siren forward for Bunny Boy. He's going to find it difficult though to escape. That's going to be a cruiser down. Quite surprised we're seeing this at the moment. This is not a place I expected after that comm drop. We've got some Auroras invading from Repris. And Brett has actually raised his Tiger Shark just to add a little bit more damage into the pile. Wouldn't make much of a difference to most things, but fighting Auroras up close and personal, they are of course pretty tin foil. But look at this, have we got a cheeky snipe attempt on the way? Hey boy, incoming with a drop. Let's take a look at how this looks from Brett's side of things. He's got intel on the forward scout, as he must have a deceiver on that transport as well. But T3, hold your horses. Lots of T3 air out from CCB-80 out of nowhere. Bunny Boy looking for a commander to attack, and Brett's is safely in the water at the moment. Doubt he's going to be able to find anything. He's not going to make landfall either. Good coverage from the Swift Winds. Nice place to park your planes there. CCB-80 keeping his team alive since 1781. But look at this, Zaelgar under threat, just running from 6 Tiger Sharks because he's got nothing to throw back at them. Oh, that's painful. Cruisers just getting popped left, right, and center. He's finally got some destroyers on the way, but just didn't pump enough into submersible offense. Sorry, not destroyers, Coopers on the way. He's lost at least 2 or 3 cruisers out of that. She certainly didn't need to, but this fleet from Brewer on the absolute rampage. Barracudas and Salem just getting swamped once again. Boy, unable to turn out enough units to combat this. We have got a bug on the way. Interesting decision at this point, and they definitely don't have air either. Repris is trying to rule the air. He's trying to get in there. He's got a few ASFs on the field, but he's well behind. How many are we looking at the moment from CCB? We're looking at 44, and that is a hardy group of fighters compared to what else is on the field. Compared to Repris, the only other player going for T3 air, 10. Less than 25%. That is not a good situation to be in. And Zaelgar not capitalizing down here. It's left up to Repris to snag this landmass. He's picked up 2 of the mexes and left the other 2 for the moment. Might as well just take them. It doesn't look like Zaelgar's too interested at the moment. 28 minutes gone in this one so far. I haven't been looking at reclaim because I'm guessing it's not going to have been a significant factor in this one. I will take a quick look in just a moment to make sure I'm not wrong on that. But CCB-80 running away with the mass game. 224 out of nowhere. Has got his eco absolutely flying. And now a large air engagement over the top of Repris's base, and there is no ground-to-air fire coming up anywhere from Team 1, except right down here at the bottom you can see Zaelgar embarking on some massive Atlantic wall of air cleaners. Interesting to know when this game was played, whether or not this is with the new changes. Well, I don't have that information, unfortunately. Soul Ripper has been started, albeit in a slightly different place, but this is far too protectionist, this is far too turtley for my liking. I don't think it's going to go too well, and Repris is about to lose the southern island. Even got incoming bombardment, not just from Brewer's fleet, which is now bigger than ever, but also Governor back here, demonstrating that Brett is recovering. 47 mass, still short stacking, but Zaelgar not far behind on 60. And Brewer successfully re-grabbing that top land mass as well. Monumental turnaround for Team 2 after such a comprehensive base bashing. Now goes the last land factory on that bottom island for Repris. Those last few units backing up, 4 units of build capacity, hightailing at home as quickly as they can. Skimmers now the order of the day. Repris needs air more than anything. He needs to get some air. He's also throwing together some SAMs, no doubt concerned that strap bombers could be on the way. That would certainly be my concern, but also restorers, and that's a lot of restorers that CCB-80 has suddenly grabbed as well. Very impressed. Let's take a quick look at the reclaim game, see what's been going on. So we've got 4,800 banks so far for CCB-80, who's bottlenecking power hard. Needs to get a handle on that to efficiently stay ahead of Repris. Repris is on 3,500. Moneyboy 3,400. Brewer, to be fair, has made the most of the naval engagements. He's picked up 12,000 so far. Zaelgar 2,000, and passing mass over to his teammates, unable to use it quickly enough. And last but not least, Brett has picked up 3,000 as well. But look at this, Zaelgar's naval forces just getting battered. Brewer and Brett just steaming through them, and once again, this little group of governors at the back here under pressure. Repris getting a little bit of a flyby there from some of CCB's forces. In come the restorers to go after the governors. Interesting decision. I would not have gone for that myself. Able to handle it probably, but unnecessarily throwing away gunships when Brewer's fleet can easily handle them. I guess they feel they're ahead. They don't need to be cautious anymore. Definitely unnecessary losses on that one. Zaelgar's flak, refusing to allow any of those restorers into the main base. Torpedo bombers out for Bunny Boy. They don't last very long at all, but the Barracudas are brought down. Can they save Zaelgar's naval stations? I don't think they can. Down goes one shipyard, another soon to follow, surely. Barracudas dishing out a huge amount of damage. Brewer is going to back up, but I think enough missiles are in the air to finish it off. There it goes. Nice work there from Bunny Boy. Learning the lessons of the last few naval engagements and going mass submersible. Goes one destroyer, another soon to follow. Bunny Boy saying if we can rule air, going with the bug. I think that's going to be tough. You are way behind on air. Let's take a look at the ASF count. 49 still for CCB-80. That's after losing a load as well. Bunny Boy has got a few ASFs of his own. Only 6 though. And Repris 12. Nowhere near enough of what they need. They have at least got some SAMs and a decent amount of flak. If they can force another air fight over here, could potentially even things up. Concern is though CCB-80's eco has been far too good. Having said that, Repris has caught him up dramatically, and CCB-80 still hasn't got a handle on his power issues. A quantum reactor on the way is likely to sort things out as and when it gets completed, but it could be a ways off at current speed. So Restorer's chilling out up here next to Moneyboy's Barracudas. Feel like they want to find another way in. I tell you what they might be able to manage. They might be able to knock out some of these naval yards, only if they have the support of the ASFs, which at the moment dotted around the place, some at the back of the base, some down here. But Brett getting a little bit of payback now. Station governors around here and launching missiles over the top, but a terrible place to build a huge line of expensive miasmas, firing T2 artillery directly into a cliff face and unable, no matter what they were shooting at it. You see those skimmers go up over the cliff there. Newton would not be pleased, breaking the laws of physics there. But those miasmas, that's a colossal waste in mass and energy, and he's still building them. Much better off with some T3 mobile, be able to fire over the top, much higher arc on those bad boys. That bug has been completed a long time from Moneyboy, but nothing for it to go for, especially not with that quantity of ASFs roaming around. Now, was that a Control K? I think it might have been. Attempt to glean some more mass. I don't think you want to be doing that if you can avoid it. You're going to need your naval units. I've got a megalith on the way as well, but it's a long way to go. Maybe that's what he's trying to stockpile the mass for. No, he's rebuilding it. Must have been destroyed. Really does. That's painful, man. They need to be control Ks. They are of absolutely no use whatsoever. And they are taking up a huge quantity of resources. Absolutely brutal decision. Try not to go on about it too much, but still. Shockers queuing up back here, no doubt looking for a snipe. That bug on the move, at least for the moment. Still probing for some kind of opening where he can make use of damage in the tank, but I just don't see he's going to get one, not with the disadvantage that Team 1 are at, with all of those ASFs on the field for CB-80. Empress working on power, wants to outdo CB-80 in the air. He's going to have to if they stand any chance of getting back in this one, and finally he's realized the problem. He started producing Serenities, so he really should recycle each one of those miasmas. I mean, it's 2,000 something mass per miasma, but in comes a wave of shockers. What are they going for? They're going for Repres's Com. Down to around 13,500. More incoming though. That is going to be unsuccessful. Also, how many ASFs are CB-80, or is CB-80 going to lose? There's now quite a lot of T3 anti-air in here, coupled with a lot of flak as well. They hang a turn over the top of that base. That could be catastrophic. I'm sorry to keep fixating on it, but 12 of those. Lot of mass, man. 24,000 mass. Maybe more, 25 maybe. 24, 25,000 mass. plumbed into something that's not going to be able to achieve anything but that bug out, going after the flagship of Brewer's Navy, that battleship in front, but in come the ASFs from CB-80, and in one pass pretty much, down it goes. And not only that, it's also in a precarious situation. It's not like Bunny Boy is going to be able to get out there and harvest that wreck. And I suspect that probably represents the end for Team 1. Such a wonderful opening as well. I feel really sorry for Repris. It was a great little comm drop, and then when it started to go badly, he still had the thought, the presence of mind to get himself back out. Major victory to open with, but they've just let it slip away. Zailgar, well, he was the offset. Repris, of course, the highest ranking player in this game, so Zailgar was set on that team to offset, to balance it up. And Bunny Boy took advantage at the top when Repris engaged with his comm, but couldn't hold on against Brewer's naval spam. And phenomenal work from Brewer and CCB, taking on their two fields, one naval, one air, and dominating completely, comprehensively. Finally, that megalith online. Know what it's going to be able to do, though. You don't want to get into a naval fight with just a megalith. Of course, we saw the megalith do great things en masse in that Waters of Isis game the other day between Zlo and Luzon. But you want an assisting navy or multiple megaliths, otherwise you're just throwing mass out of your base into the void. And another battleship has emerged, but CCB launches a nuke straight into the heart of Repris's base. As he got anti-nuke there, he's been focusing on it as well, so he will have scouted it, but that missile is barely 60% complete. And that means that that nuke is going to connect, and that is officially going to be game. Nice play from Team 2, considering the start they had. Down comes the nuke. And bam. Excuse the camera work on that one. Huge hole now in the center of Repris's base, and it's too much for him to stand. He commits Sebuku right at the back. It'd be quite cool actually if the ACUs did that. Just pulled out a massive sword and shoved it through the center of the ACU. Megalith under pressure from all angles, and sub-hunters now the order of the day for Brewer. Pummeling the megalith. HP just falling off that bad boy. 35,000 HP and falling. Zailgar gets strat bombed or control Ks, one of the two. That is well and truly over. Zailgar, not the most massive of impacts on a game, but I mean, he did reasonably well for his rating. His one mistake, of course, was going too heavily onto the cruiser side of things. Got to secure the sea first before you concern yourself with bombarding. So he should have been mixing up those cruisers with destroyers. Maybe the odd shield boat. Down goes the megalith finally. Bunny Boy throws out the GG. We've got more shockers incoming. Bunny Boy isn't going to wait for any control cases com as well, so a convincing victory from seemingly the jaws of defeat on that one. I actually really like that map as well. It's kind of unusual. It just promotes drawn-out games. 47 minutes, so could have gone on a lot longer, but yeah, it's kind of interesting. Lots of little pockets. You find lots of drops that should be occurring over the course of the game. I hope you enjoyed it anyway, guys. More to come from me, as always, in the future. In the meantime, though, however, stay well and stay safe. This is Gyle, signing out.